This video is brought to you by Scratch Off Maps. Thank you very much to them for sponsoring this video. It is a brilliant map with lots of availability online that you can go and check out. So the link is in the description. They've got numerous amount of maps, including if you're wanting to follow English football, you're wanting to follow and do as many grounds in the 92. You've got maps based for the NFL over in the United States. You've got Scottish maps as well. You've got European maps, German maps for you to go and check out. So lots of variety and lots of good options. A little bit about the map. The map, very easy to scratch off. It's very accessible. You can literally just pin it up and put it literally anywhere in your room. I've even put mine on the door. I also really like the fanometer that's available on the map, where you can see how many grounds you visited and see what kind of football fan you are. I've currently done 43 of the grounds available on the map. A seasoned traveller, and I've got my eyes set this season on getting to serious respect section. Don't forget, you can go and check out the map. The link is in the description. Remember, if you use code JSGC10 on checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. Links and details, they're in the description. What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be doing my match review, match reaction and match analysis of Manchester City's Premier League defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home in the Premier League by 2-1. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe. You can find my social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description as well. If you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, do leave a thumbs up. 100 likes is the aim, and most importantly, do let me know your thoughts as well in the comments below, including what do you think went wrong here for Manchester City and what would you like to see Man City do to rectify this heading into big games against RB Leipzig in the Champions League on Wednesday evening, and of course next weekend's massive game against Arsenal away from home in the Premier League. So let's crack on with this video. We're going to start off first with the talking points, and that was the team. I was happy with the team. Josko Gvardiol is the one that's unlucky to miss out. I remember saying in my preview, the only player that's going to be unlucky here is going to be one of Josko Gvardiol or Nathan Ake, and it was Gvardiol's the one that's unlucky to miss out, and I expect him to be starting in midweek. Elsewhere, Jack Grealish didn't start because, quite frankly, he didn't deserve to be starting in this game because he just didn't play well enough against Newcastle to make that happen. Kalvin Phillips is another player given his chance against Newcastle, didn't do enough, in my opinion, in the match against Newcastle to warrant a start here, so the team pretty much picked itself, with City going with Kovacic, Matheus Nunes, Akanji sitting alongside them as well, and of course Julian Alvarez playing behind the striker, with Phil Foden taking up the right hand side, Jeremy Doku on the left hand side, and Erling Haaland starting up top for Manchester City. For Wolves, they went with their same 11 that picked up a draw against Luton Town, barring making one change, which was due to a suspension. So in terms of the talking points into the first half, Man City's approach, first 2 or 3 minutes we were making chances happen. Jeremy Doku looked to be getting into some positions and looked like he was in that mood, and Manchester City looked like they were just expecting a formality, and I think that probably is my overall summary here. I don't know if Man City have been taken away or surprised by the approach of Wolves and what they were going to do, but whatever it was, Manchester City just looked a little bit underprepared for this game, and Wolves stuck to their game plan like glue. Even when Manchester City found the equaliser and City were getting up ahead of steam, they were defending deep, they were defending well, they were getting players all around Erling Haaland, all around our attacking players, Julian Alvarez, Jeremy Doku, Phil Foden. They just weren't being given any space to make anything happen. It was a very tight, compact, defensive performance that was executed perfectly nearly by Wolverhampton Wanderers, other than conceding off that free kick, and that's on the back end of that brilliant second half performance from Newcastle United, where Manchester City just weren't given any time or space, and I think that's now something City need to adapt to, because more teams are going to be picking up on that. The bonus that we've got between now and after the international break is we've got teams who like to play football, so their approach isn't going to be that low block, that park the bus, that we're going to have 10 men behind the ball. Leipzig will not do that. And also Arsenal will not do that as well. They will look to play football. There will be space for City to deal with. So as long as we go back to being clinical in front of goal, I'm confident that we can get really good results against both Leipzig and against Arsenal. And looking out after the international break, a match against Brighton again. On paper, you think it's difficult. They've got a really good style of play, but actually the style of play, in my opinion, suits how Manchester City like teams to play because it gives us that space. It's when teams are being tight and not giving us anything that we do tend to struggle. And if teams can stick with us and we don't find that opening goal, you've got every chance of success. Newcastle did it midweek and there was a rotated team. City's first 11 were out today and Wolves have managed to do that as well. And that to me is where Man City have gone wrong, and that's what City need to rectify now whenever we come up against teams who are going to park the bus. Leipzig and Arsenal may be tempted to do that. It's just not in their nature. If they did choose to do that, they're going against their style of play and what they're used to. It'll look a bit disjointed, and for how good City can be, they'll be all over it. But as a whole, heading into this game, let's look at the facts. We've lost this game to a team that was sitting 16th in the Premier League, won 1 game in 6 in their Premier League so far this season, a team that had lost their previous 4 games. And Manchester City have lost away from home at Molineux against Wolves today, a team that, to me, aren't anywhere near as good as what they have been in the past. They've looked at times at dire straits. The manager left less than a week before the season started, and they've not got off to a blistering start in the Premier League. But what they have shown is they've got the quality, and that's their benchmark that they'll be looking for. That performance today from Wolves, if they play like that for 38 games throughout the season, they won't be relegated. They will comfortably stay up. They'll probably end up finishing mid-table, even top half. They need that consistency. For Wolves, though, their relegation battle or not relegation battle, depending on how their season ends up going, will be decided upon playing teams in that bottom half of the Premier League table rather than a match up against Manchester City. Today is a bonus 3 points they weren't expecting. They now need to use that as momentum to go forward, to play well in their next game, to pick up another 3 points, because otherwise, what's the point in beating Manchester City, who are going to be right up there towards first, if Wolves are again going to follow this up by losing the next 3 or 4 Premier League games, in particular if you're losing against any teams that are currently sat around them. It makes it completely pointless, so they need to utilise that confidence that they've picked up from this to push on for this season. But I was impressed with their defensive display. They did what they needed to do. They got the job done. It's an ugly style of play, but it's effective and it's picked up 3 points, and there aren't many teams that will beat Manchester City this season, and so for them it will be completely worth it. For Manchester City, we still sit on top of the Premier League table of me recording this. Liverpool have got a difficult game against Spurs. Hopefully we can get a favour from Spurs. We can sit on top of the Premier League still, because 18 points after 7 games isn't a bad start. It's just where that defeat has happened, and what has happened for Manchester City will make people feel very bitter about it. It's going to make social media very bitter. It's going to make it toxic, poisonous, horrible out there. City with back-to-back losses, people are going to lose the plot, and that's what I'm hoping this video will be able to put across. Is I don't want City to lose the plot. I don't want the fans to get the knickers in the twist, so to speak. I want City fans to look at things logically. Look at how Leipzig play. Look at how Arsenal play. Look at how Brighton play. And look at how their approach is going to be very different to Wolves. So we don't need to worry about the problems that have been created from today. What we do need to worry about is making sure we're playing to the best of our ability, because how we performed against Newcastle, how we performed here against Wolves, we haven't played to the best of our ability. If we did, we'd have gone through in the Carabao Cup, we'd have won this game as well, and we'd have potentially have won this game at a canter. But you don't have a God-given right to win every single game. You do not have the right to just turn up and win a football game. You earn your right to win that football game. And what I saw today from Wolves was that heart and desire that I want to see from Manchester City week in, week out. City match Wolves' desire today. Man City win this game, in my opinion. Wolves' game plan worked to a T. They frustrated Manchester City, and we didn't make the job happen. That first goal for Wolves that they managed to score, not managing to muster up any shots on target, but they find the first goal in the first 15 minutes through attacking, coming forward and finding a ball. They get lucky with the deflection. It goes into the back of the net. It happens. We've gone behind against Crvena Zvezda, come back and won. We've gone behind against West Ham and come back and won. What Manchester City need to stop doing is going behind in games. You go behind in games, you run risks of potentially losing them games. We've got enough done against West Ham. We've got enough done against Zvezda as well. We haven't got enough done here. We didn't do enough again against Newcastle midweek. We need to stop conceding and stop going behind and making hard work for ourselves. We need to get back to pushing really hard. Quick starts, quick goals, get them games wrapped up ASAP. Nottingham Forest last weekend, perfect example. 20 minutes in, couple of goals, games taken away from the team. You can get a player sent off, things happen in football, and you still have enough to go out there and win that game of football without making life too difficult for ourselves. We're making life difficult for ourselves. We need to go back to nice, quick, attacking starts, doing everything we can to find that opening goal. Wolves' game plan, we score first 3 minutes today, goes out of the window. Man City put them shots on target and score a goal in them opening couple of minutes. All of a sudden, that low block approach, it just doesn't work, and it's backed against the wall for Wolves, and they're under pressure because if City grab that second goal, it's game, set, and match. Warning signs are there for Manchester City. Saw it against Sheffield United away from home. I've seen it against West Ham. I've seen it there again today. City need to improve. We're not playing, and my concern here is I don't think we're playing particularly well. We're not creating that much when teams are not wanting us to create, when they're sitting there with their defensive approaches. Manchester City don't have any idea on how to break this down. Summed up very well. 95th minute, we're 2-1 behind, we're putting a ball into the box. It's Manuel Akanji putting a ball into the box. A centre-back is putting our ball into the box. 95th minute, we're 2-1 behind. Why is a centre-back putting a ball into the box? Because it stinks of desperation from Manchester City. It stinks of we don't know what to do. And that's what we need to sort out. You need to be smart in these situations. You need to make sure you just don't get into them situations in the first place. And we have. All the warning signs have been there this season, and Manchester City, they've come unstuck today. And today isn't going to be the only day we're going to come unstuck. There will be other games where we come unstuck. There'll be other games that we should be winning that we don't win. It's going to happen. It's the Premier League. It's a marathon. We know what we need to do. We know that Man City play better in the second half of the season once players have had more time to adapt and gel. We've lost a lot of influence in the dressing room, the likes of Laporte, Mahrez, Gundogan, experienced senior professional players at Manchester City. They've left the club. We've brought some fresh new blood in. It's going to take time for them to embed themselves in, and it's going to take time for some of the more experienced players there now at City to adapt to that as well. But the sooner we can get the likes of Bernardo Silva and John Stones back to give us that more depth and more creativity to help our team, and more of a familiar feel will help us. Big time loss on Rodri today. I thought Rodri would have been perfect for this kind of game to settle us down. It's almost like Man City didn't really know what to expect in midfield, and that causes me concern for that Arsenal match next week. I think that's something for us to think about over the match against RB Leipzig potentially. We do have Rodri available for that one, thankfully. But yes, I didn't see enough from Kalvin Phillips when he came on again for Manchester City. And as I've said in my live stream today, I just feel like with Kalvin Phillips, once Rodri comes back after the international break for City, if Kalvin Phillips is not getting a look in the City squad, he's not going to get a look in. With Rodri not being there and he's still not getting selected and still not playing particularly well, he's just not going to get in, and it would be well within his best interest, and I think City's best interest, for him to leave in January to allow us a bit of space and a bit of money to bring another central midfielder in who can help us create some opportunities, as well as with defensive duties as well. Kevin De Bruyne being injured is a massive loss, but I'm not using that as an excuse. I don't buy that as an excuse. I don't think Kevin De Bruyne makes too much of a difference in this game. Kevin De Bruyne, when teams were putting these low blocks in against City, he was just them player that was always putting balls into the box that just weren't working out for City. He's just one of them players that can just create that bit of quality that's needed every now and then in a game, that when he's not playing particularly well, he can just do that one bit of magic. And at this moment in time, current crop of players that we've got, they don't have that moment of magic in them when they're not playing particularly well to dig deep, to find that assist or find that goal. And my biggest concern here is the fact that we've found no service today for Erling Haaland. We've got the best striker in the world, but what on earth is the point in having the best striker in the world when you can't supply anything to him? Wolves had 3 or 4 players on him, and all of our attacking players, because they had a really good defensive unit, they had a job to do, they knew what they needed to do, and they executed it perfectly. Perfect link-up play between their attackers, and Man City's high line exposed. There's plenty to ponder for Manchester City, but the positives are brilliant strike for Julian Alvarez to find that goal. Manchester City have plenty of games left in the season. We've got lots of games to put this result right, and as of right now, Liverpool still haven't played. We sit top of the Premier League, so things could be a lot worse. Manchester United today, for example, lost at home to Crystal Palace, but we lost away to Wolves. Not a great result for Manchester City at all. Credit to Wolves, they got the job done. We move on. We've got to move on. No time to dwell, as I said. Don't start getting too obsessed with social media, because things will get very poisonous out there. Chill out, enjoy your weekend. That's what you need to do. On a final note, officiating. Terrible, absolutely awful. I know that Hwang found the goal, the second goal for Wolves. Poor defending from City again. Finds himself in acres of space. It'd have been a block of the season if Kyle Walker managed to successfully make that block. He got a really good head onto it. Nearly got it onto the post, not quite into the side of the net. Wolves' second goal, but Hwang shouldn't have been on that pitch. That should have been a second yellow card in injury time on the first half. It was an inept challenge. It was late. It was slightly high. It's a yellow card all day long. If he's not on a yellow card, he gets booked. He is on a yellow card, so it should be another yellow card, and a red card changes the complexion of that game. Man City potentially don't lose this game. It's all ifs and buts, I know, but officiating just poor. I did think the official was a little bit better in the second half. The first half made life very frustrating, and I was getting frustrated with City playing naturally, with how we was playing and what we were doing. I was also equally getting frustrated with the officiating, because it was just incredibly poor. Free kicks given for stuff that wasn't a free kick, and then giving free kicks for stuff that wasn't. And it was just absolutely baffling, an inept performance from the officials in the first half, and the fact that there was so much time wasting going on from an early stage to only add on 3 minutes in the first half just baffled me. Absolutely baffled me. Anyway, we know the officiating's poor here. It's poor every week. The standard of officiating in the Premier League and up and down England is terrible, to say the least. It's something that you've just got to deal with. It's the same for both teams. Man City equally were given some weak free kicks in that second half that if City had scored off them, I think Wolves would have been very aggrieved by. So, as I said, it's all ifs and buts, it's all swings and roundabouts. It's football. It's why we hate the game, it's why we love the game as well. You've got to take the rough with the smooth, you've got to take the fun in the games. You know what I mean? You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, you're going to have bad results, you're going to have some excellent results. It's the ups and downs of football, and it is what it is. And at Manchester City, the expectations got so high that when we do lose, it becomes so much more disappointing, so much more frustrating. But as I said, it just gives you that fire in the belly for football and keeps you on your toes. Poor result. We need to move on. Big match against RB Leipzig. Could beat them. Got some a little bit of momentum to take into that Arsenal game. As I said, different styles of play, so we can learn lessons here, but until we come up against a similar team who's going to do that same approach, I won't have an answer as to what City have learnt from this game until then. So there we go, that has been today's video. I think I've rambled on enough. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, that would be great. I know there's not much to like, but it does help the video, and it does let me know that you guys are enjoying the content that I'm producing, so I would appreciate it. 100 likes is the aim. Do subscribe as well if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Social media links, they're in the description too if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description as well if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. TikTok link also in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Finally, do leave your thoughts as well in the comments below of what you make of this performance from City. What do you think went wrong? And I'll see you guys all again real soon for the next Manchester City video. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.